7UHK Jessica. Anyone out there tonight yet? WW7UHK Jessica in Mount Vernon. Looking for a quick signal for this is KF7UHK Jessica in Mount Vernon. It's fine, Jessica. A little static on top of your words, but very legible. A good strong signal.
Good evening. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. The Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that take to the airways with fast scan television. We have a repeater located up on Cougar Mountain. Transmit on 70 centimeters. It's a crossband repeater and spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz in NTSC format. To find out more about the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, please Google WW7ATS. That's Google WW7ATS. That will take you to our homepage. There you'll find information on the exact frequencies we transmit and receive on, and also you'll find a link that will take you to YouTube, where we stream our nets held Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. Also, we'd like to thank the SeaTac Repeater Association for letting us use WW7STR's repeater 147.08 with a specific tone of 103.5 for this net. That's a specific tone of 103.5 for this net for the SeaTac Repeater Association. This is for our voice transmissions. So with that, I'll pause in case anybody has emergency traffic or needs to make a contact before our net gets fully underway. Again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Hearing none, already checked into the net via video link is Ron, KD7QKU, Jessica, KF7UHK, Bob, K9PQ, Jim, N7QO, James, WU7N, and myself, Dave, KD7CYM. Is there anybody else wishing to check into the net this evening? Hearing none, again, welcome to the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. Let's start off with Ron, KD7QKU in Tacoma.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Dave. Good evening to the group. This is KD7QKU. I heard Jessica in there, but I couldn't tell what she was saying. I don't know if she was going to join us or not. But anyway, it's been raining over here in my area for about, I don't know, an hour now. I have 0.04 of an inch of rain. Well, it started at dinner time. I don't know when we ate dinner. It must have been around 6 o'clock. So I just looked. We have 63 degrees, 0.04 of an inch. It's just barely light rain out there right now. So I guess the most exciting thing I did today is I went over and got my hair cut this afternoon. Got another $10 haircut. The guy told me last time he doesn't like to talk politics, but that's the only one to do. It's kind of funny. Apparently he saw the debate, and he's a Republican, so you can imagine what he wanted to talk about. I assume he's a Republican from what he says. Anyway, alright, let's see. I did go by the field day down by Lakewood, down there by Northwest Hospital, where the Tacoma sets up their field day. It was really nice. They have nice equipment. I really like their towers. They're military towers. Maybe I told you this before. They're tubes, I guess, poles, and they're in sections, probably about 6 feet long. And somehow you raise it up, and then you secure it, and you put another section in the bottom, and secure them together. Then they raise them up, put another section in the bottom. James can probably tell us all about that. But yeah, real nice. So I went over there today. There was a lot of people there this morning, more than I kind of wanted to see. It was there wasn't any place to sit down, any place to park. They have 2 garages on the property. One of them they store their field trip, field day stuff in. They have really nice big tins, and then the other one they store old equipment, that people, I guess, die and donate to them. They had a bunch of it out on the ground. I guess they're trying to figure out what to throw away and what to keep. It looked like the Puyallup Fair scattered all over the ground out there. So they have a massive amount of stuff. But they've been in existence a long, long time. So anyway, like I say, other than getting a haircut, just do the normal things. Yesterday went to the bank, taking the cat to the doctor. Normally, and then we went and bought groceries in the afternoon. Just regular old things, Nothing exciting going on over here. So anyway, back to that KD7QKU.
KD7QKU, thanks for that. Let's see if we can pick up Jessica, KF7UHK.
KF7UHK. I'm receiving you guys really badly, and I know that we're on PL tone 103.5 at 147.080, but I'm not receiving you that well. And I know we had a change recently. I wonder if that's why I can't hear you so well, but maybe you can hear me, because sometimes I hear the repeater come back with a really clear Morse code, but it's not the one I just heard a second ago. So I'm going to back out of here and talk to you guys later, maybe next weekend, and see if you can help me work out my issues. All right, it's good to hear you all. Happy birthday to my friend up there, K9PQ, and we'll talk to you later. It's KF7UHK, Jessica in Mount Vernon.
Jessica, thanks for that. I believe we have your 7-3. So let's go to Bob, K9PQ.
Well, good evening, everybody. Yeah, Jessica, we heard you very well. Loud and for the most part clear. I mean, certainly completely understandable. So, sorry you're not hearing us well, and we'll see you next time around. Ron, yeah, the military masks, we've used those on a number of field days in Seattle as well, but I don't remember ever using that system you're describing where you raise up the sections with some kind of maybe it's like a gin pole or something, with some kind of a tool, and then put another section underneath. I think what we did was lay them out and then tip them up, if I remember right. But yeah, they work well, and certainly, like a lot of military things, are very sturdy and very heavy. So, but good. let's see. Actually, I'm impressed that that meeting had so many people. I mean, it's a shame you didn't have a place to sit down, but boy, that's good for ham radio when you've got meetings filling up like that. I'm happy to hear that. For myself, not a lot going on. I was going to head out to Bremerton to my niece's birthday party, but I wasn't able to do that today. So here I am. You get me instead. That's the consolation prize. But yeah, trying to think of things that I've done, and not a whole lot comes to mind for me either. Ron, just kind of, as you say, just kind of the usual stuff. The usual gaming night last night. Had a good time with my friends there, and otherwise, yeah, nothing comes to mind at the moment. I'm sure I've done things, but I just can't think of it. So anyway, I'll have more to talk about maybe when I respond to you guys next time around. So back to net, K9PQ.
K9PQ, thanks for that. Let's go to Jim, N7QO in Covington.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Good evening, everyone. Well, Jessica, if you're leaving us, thanks for checking in. We heard you 100% on that last transmission. And happy birthday. And happy birthday to you, Bob. And happy birthday to Mr., was it Kevin Bacon? I think, yeah. And, let's see. Niece's birthday party, was your niece born the same day by chance? Close. Yeah, close but no cigar. Okay, well, anyway, Ron, yeah, we've got some precipitation here as well. Probably for maybe an hour, at least an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours or so. It's been drizzling here. Not really raining, but if you stand outside for more than 5 minutes, you're going to feel wet. Not bad though. Field day. Oh man, I forgot all about that. We've had some out-of-town company, and things are just all kind of trying to get squared away. Lots of stuff to do, cleaning up around here and catching up on things. But enjoyable, but kind of gets you off schedule. It gets worse as you get older. I got to say that too. Let's see, Ron, a couple things for you. $10 haircut. That's somewhere close to where you live. I'm going to have to. I guess that's a little far for me to go to save $10, but I'll keep that in mind. Maybe that's incentive to move down that way. And you mentioned your cat. How is Lily? And for that matter, how's Joanne and how are you? Can't forget about all the important people there. Let's see. I guess that's it for me. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
7QO, thanks for that. And this is for an ID, the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Well, let's go to James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue.
Hey, this is James, Whiskey Uniform 7 November, Northeast Bellevue. Well, let's see. Yeah, Ron, the tubes aloft. I was at Field Day, gosh, must be 5 years ago, 6 years ago now. And how they did it is these big long fiberglass tubes, you started with, you know, guy wires at the top, and then a couple people at the bottom who would lift it up and then kind of stick the next one on and push it up further. And the people all around had to give you more slack the higher up you went. Because I asked, I said, wouldn't it be easier to put them all on the ground and tip them up? And no, they don't have the structural integrity for that. But if you keep the Mr. Gravity working for you, squishing the top part into the next part into the next part, then you can always get the next part up. And so these tubes weren't that long. I mean, they were, I don't know, 6, 8 feet, something like that, because you could lift it up high enough to get the next tube in, and then you lift it up again and get the next tube in. But everybody had to work together. It was one of those real team exercises, because if someone didn't do the right thing on the guy wires, that would come crashing down. It didn't with us, and he assured us that they wouldn't be hurt if they did. But I didn't want to test that because they looked expensive. Like Bob says, they were very, very rugged. And if you break something that's rugged, you're probably going to pay a very rugged price. Today, the 1.2 gigahertz signal coming off Cougar Mountain tonight is a 5+. It's rock solid, absolutely no roll, no fade, full color signal. It's just looking very good. There's some digital, very minor digital stutter, but I think that's just the digital feed, not actually the 30 frames a second. I think it's all coming through perfectly synchronized. Wow, it's amazing too, because there is a wall of water coming in from the west right now on radar, and I'm going to try an experiment here. I'm going to see if I can share the screen. Start screen sharing, okay, and let's see, because on Zoom this always locks my computer up and I have to reboot. But let's see if my computer, this little WIMP computer that can't even upgrade to the next version of Windows operating software. Well, I see it on the 1.2, so I think it's working. Carefully at the word Sammamish and look at the A. I guess that maybe would only show up on high res. That A is exactly where I'm at, and someone said to me, yeah, that's because of the guy that lives there. So I'm not sure what he meant by that, but anyway, okay, so to unshare, let's see if I can unshare this. Okay, let's give it a try. Are we unshared? Okay, unshared it. Okay, I'm back on. All right. Hey, that worked. And my machine, so Jitsi apparently doesn't jam this particular computer up like Zoom did. Interesting, huh? The other thing today was the fifth Saturday, so the creatively named Fifth Saturday Drill was in Western Washington, and that went real well. A lot of the activity at Bellevue was oriented towards getting ready for the 4th of July, which is a big, big event for the city of Bellevue. I tell you, I did it last year, mass of people, and as it got closer and closer to fireworks, that entire cell phone site was completely unusable. Nothing came in, nothing came out. You could not send even a text message. I tried sending a text message, and I think it maybe either it didn't come through at all or it came through like 4 hours later or something. But yeah, as far as trying to make a phone call or send a video or do anything, you could not do anything. So all those people were out there with their cameras taking pictures, and I'm sure trying to send it to their relatives in India or whatever, and it was not working at all. So we have all different kinds of radios working independently of cell phones, so ham radio is not dead yet for sure. Side note, a year I did not participate, this was I think pre-COVID, they tried to use a communication system that used the cell phone towers and an app on everyone's phone that worked like a push-to-talk radio. And at the time, I said, you know, I don't understand how it's going to work. You have 40,000 people trying to make a phone call and take pictures of fireworks and send them to their relatives in China and India, and yet you're using, oh, no, it'll still work, it'll still work. Do I even have to tell you how that experiment went? Yes, you can guess. And Jim, you got to get into the spirit of retirement. You have to be willing to spend $30 in gasoline to get a $10 haircut. It's just like, you know, flying your own airplane. You got to be willing to spend hundreds of dollars in fuel and overhead costs for the aircraft to buy your $10 hamburger. But it's a really good hamburger. It always will be, no matter what, wherever you go. Well, anyway, with that, enough philosophy here from Northeast Bellevue. My name is James, WW7N, with the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. I'm going to turn it back to our net control, Dave, KD7ZYM. This is Whiskey Uniform 7 November.
And this is Jessica breaking back in to join back into your net.
The net recognizes Jessica is back, so anyway, we'll come up to her in a bit. This is Dave, KD7CYM in Lake City. Overcast here and dry. No rain had come down this afternoon or up to this point. The only thing out there is something that's attacking my nose and causing me great misery. I think it's probably lawn grass that I know the trees have done their mating already, and that was about 4 weeks ago. So I can't accuse the trees of causing it, but boy, certainly it's been saying bad things to my nose. Well, today I did yard work and domestic chores. Boy, what an exciting life inside, but that's about what I did today. And I'd say a $10 haircut. I think that is fantastic. Hard to believe, but if you have to listen to political conversation, I don't know if that would be worth the $10 without earplugs. So interesting. So that's what I have to say. This is Dave, KD7CYM. So I'm going to send it back up to Ron, KD7QKU in Tacoma.
Okay, KD7QK here again. Well, the conversation at the barbershop, we kind of share the same political beliefs, and there was a guy in the chair, an older guy, when I got there, and they were talking, and I kind of agreed with everything they said, and then a guy came in when I was in the chair, an older guy, and he was talking, and we all sort of agree with, lean the same way, so it's a good conversation. It's amazing that three of us couldn't remember the name of the last Republican governor for the state of Washington if we tried. I could have got my phone out, I guess, and found it, but I couldn't remember. I guess it was Dan Evans. So I came home, Joanne knew right away. Said, oh yeah, it was Dan Evans. I worked on his political campaign, and we were invited to the state, capitol for the ball, and you didn't want to go. And I do remember that, and I'm sorry that we didn't go. Only opportunity we'll probably ever have to do something like that. So anyway, well, I have a couple of things, I guess, to share. Joanne's niece's son, Eric, he goes to Lincoln High School. He went with 100 other kids today on a fully expense-paid trip, 2-week trip to China. So he's been studying Chinese in school. But, I kind of want to find out who financed this trip. Kind of sounds to me like maybe it was a China finance trip and going to brainwash these kids, and propaganda. I don't know. But my wife says that I have a too suspicious mind. I don't need to think about all those things. But that's the first thing I think about. And then, I wrote down Happy Birthday, Bob. I didn't realize it was his birthday. And then Jim asked about our cat. Little's actually doing pretty good. Her coat looks better. She's eating fairly well. She's actually gained a little bit of weight. I don't know if she's gained a half a pound, but at least she hasn't lost. So I don't know what they're giving her. They're giving her some of the shot. Apparently it's helping whatever's wrong with her. So she perked up a little bit. Looks better. I think she feels better. But, her days are numbered because she's so old. So anyway. Back to that tower that the club had. So it has a mechanism on the bottom, an apparatus piece. I didn't go up really, really close and examine it, but they told me, that's how it works. So it has a piece on the bottom. I don't know how tall it is. It might be like 10 feet tall or something. And it looks like a piece of tower, regular tower with the crisscrosses on it, and there's some support on the bottom. And so the tube that goes through that, and then somehow they lock it down and put one in the bottom, and then they somehow connect them together, then release the lock, and then put it up in the air and lock it down, put in another one. I wasn't there when they put it up, and I wasn't there when they taken it down. It was quite a ways away from where I was, and I didn't really walk out there to see it. But someday, I guess, curious enough, I I should have taken it, even went out and looked at it, taken a picture of it, but I didn't. So anyway. All right, well, it's always fun to see you guys and hear what you have to say and what you're up to. So I'll turn it back to Nat, and we'll see where it goes from here. KD7QKU.
7QKU, and time for an ID. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Well, we heard Jessica, so let's see if we can pick her up again. KF7UHK.
Mount Vernon's KF7UHK. Yeah, we finally got this little Cushcraft Ringo antenna on top of about a 35-foot mast outside our garage, and I'm upstairs in our little garage loft where I've built this nice little radio table with all my radios on it, and it seems to be working really well. Another thing we did is we had a marine antenna we put up on our roof here, so I can hook in one of my marine radios, and I was picking up the Good Time 2 from downtown Seattle tonight, coming in just clearly. Used to be I'd get only one weather channel on this radio. Now I'm getting like six out of 10 or 6 out of 9 weather channels, along with the Canadian, sometimes transmitting in French. It's very fun to listen to. So I'm really happy about that. It's good to hear all the people out there on the radio tonight, and I went and took a peek on the TV to see what you guys look like tonight, and the picture here up here in Mount Vernon coming in really good. So, and I'm talking here on a FTM 350 type mobile radio, and seems to be working really good. And you guys are now coming in nice and clear. I don't know why you weren't coming in before, but I think it has something to do with that rain squall coming through between us up here and you up there. All right, I'll pass it back. This is Jessica, KF7UHK.
UHK. Well, let's go to the K9PQ Bob.
Hey guys again. So I got to clear up something. I think Jessica was, mentioning our birthdays because they're coming up, but not for a while, not till after our next net. I think July 8th is our birthday is, and Kevin Bacon, of course. See what else. I had a few notes. Dave, yeah, the allergy thing. I started taking Zyrtec, or the Costco equivalent Allertec, daily a few months ago, and I had no idea what a difference it made. I got myself tested for allergies in my 20s, and it came up negative for everything, but lately I've been seeming to have problems here and there, and my sinuses have been clear for the first time in I can't imagine how many years. I've always had a little bit of drainage, a little bit of something going on in my sinuses, and what a difference that makes. So I have become a fan of Allertec. What else have I got? Yeah, you know what? Okay, we did have the fiberglass poles as well, but we also had steel ones, the steel pipe tubing. And sorry, not like a plumbing pipe, but the steel, very similar to, maybe exactly the same as what you use on the hurricane fence, the vertical stance for the hurricane fencing, but all, painted olive drab, of course. And I might be wrong about the tipping up thing, because now that I think of it, I think that it's the same thing where, they all they fit together, but it's not really structurally sound enough to tip up, so I think I was wrong about that. I don't remember having a mechanism like you're talking about, though, Ron. That would make it a whole lot better. I think they were just using muscle power. They just had some people lifting it up and then putting others underneath, which is fine for fiberglass, not so great for steel. And yeah, the 4th of July thing, James, that experiment that you're talking about is exactly the reason why they have FirstNet now. So now they've got their own frequencies, they've got, their own, basically basically their own little private network within a network, so that they can get through no matter how many people are on the public network. It's an AT&T thing, and I think there are competing ones, but the AT&T one's the one I'm familiar with because I used to work there, and I know it's really popular. What else do I have here? Yeah, gym company in town. Man, that'll mess you up for sure. Man, oh man. Hey, my downstairs neighbor has company in town, and that's already getting me a little bit discombobulated. They've got young children, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun for all that energy, but I'll be happy when it's quiet again. So that's been fun here, but yeah, that it kind of takes you out of your routine for sure. And yeah, Jessica, you're coming through great. I'm glad it's working again, working well for you. And you know, weather does that surprisingly. It's really surprising, and it's of course when you're at the edges, which you, as far away as you are, you're probably getting a fairly weak signal. So that's when you're going to get the weather messing up your signal. And of course, we all know about weather messing with the video signal. It's kind of funny though that it happens a lot more than I would expect for VHF, UHF. All right then, I'll send it back. K9PQ.
Thanks for that. And we'll get a quick ID here again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. Net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Well, let's go to Jim, N7QO in Covington.
N7QO. Thank you, Dave. Well, Jim, good job getting the video up. We saw the weather radar, pretty plainly. Of course, my picture on 1.2 is not all that stellar, but nevertheless, good job with that. Jessica, you sound very good. Just curious if you use a separate antenna for the marine, or you just use the 2-meter Ringo. I would bet it would work just fine. You just need some elevation with a little piece of wire out there to receive, I would think. Bob, thank you for mentioning that Zyrtec. I have, I don't know, I don't have that much trouble, but my wife does from time to time. She uses Claritin, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, and there's something else she uses. I don't recall what, but I don't believe she's ever tried that Zyrtec, so thanks for mentioning that. And I don't know, I just happen to notice the last several days, for some reason, they keep saying on television that sharks rarely bite anyone and rarely attack anyone, but it seems like if that were true, then it's like the last time we would have heard about an event like this was perhaps a decade ago. But it's like this day we hear someone getting munched on, that day we hear someone getting munched on, the next day, yeah, exactly, someone gets killed by the shark. Man, what's going on? Is it just me, or I don't know, something's happened. The sharks, it's like they're coming in closer to the land, and maybe mommy and daddy sharks used to teach their children to stay further away from shore and not mess with people, but maybe because people have not been swimming due to the pandemic, maybe the parents kind of were unable to teach their young ones not to bite these critters. So I don't know. I just happened to have that thought. That was I don't know, random neural firing in my pea brain, I guess. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. Let's see. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
Let's go to James, WW7N.
Years ago, when I was doing the sonic retrieval experiments in the Pacific Ocean, we did interpret some of what the sharks were talking to Young about. And all I remember is them saying, don't eat the ones with the metal tanks on their back because that will give you gas. That's all I remember. But, you know, I don't know. Well, okay, I'm going to try another share here and see if I can get away with yet another share. So let's see if this works. Okay, here goes. Share. I can hear little electrons straining, and there it is. Okay, so according to this, John Spellman was the last Republican in January. He was elected in January of 1981, but he lost the next election. So he was only a Republican governor for 4 years. He was beaten out by Booth Gardner. This is according to Wikipedia. And I do remember Dixie Lee Ray, oddly. I think it was because she was the one trying to bring nuclear power to Washington, 1977. Even though I was living in Texas, I was very interested in nuclear energy, and so I do remember Dixie Lee Ray. John Spellman must have not been, how shall we say, extremely noteworthy, because otherwise, I think... Oh, that's interesting. When I said stop sharing. Okay, I didn't stop sharing, but now on my screen I can see all of you, but I've got another screen that says, you know, that has this information on it. So that is something, I like that too, as an improvement over Zoom. Over Zoom is I just started it, did all that stuff and stopped it, and I'm still on the air for this ancient Studio XPS computer. So I would say Zoom has something to worry about here, because just in terms of performance, this is beating it. So anyway, if Wikipedia is wrong, Ron, because you have personal memories, contact the Wikipedia. They'll do one of two things. They'll either correct the article, or if they don't like you, they'll send someone by your house to do a mind wipe. Either way, it'll get fixed. So anyway, let's see what else here. A few years back where the gentleman had all the fiberglass poles, military poles, in the giant duffel bag. The other thing that really impressed me is I honestly can't remember another time I laid eyes on a HF quad antenna because it's so huge. And he put those poles up, and we actually hoisted an HF quad antenna, which was very directional, so he could direct everything from Washington State down through the center of the United States. There was nothing, no energy that was, or very little energy at least, that was getting wasted over the Pacific Ocean. So I was pretty impressed with that, because that was a big loop, really. And they, of course, had to have a director and a active and a reflector is, I think, what we had. But anyway, that, too, was pretty amazing. You are definitely going to need a big farm to put one of those up if you want a reflector, an active element, and a director on a quad loop for 40 meters. It's going to take a lot of space. So something to look forward to when you move out to the middle of nowhere, or after the apocalypse, when, you know, where you're living now becomes the middle of nowhere. Anyway, this is James, WW7N in Northeast Bellevue with the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. I'm going to turn it back to Dave, our net control, KD7ZYM. Go ahead, Dave.
Thanks for that. And getting back to Bob, birthdays are obsolete now. All we do is celebrate our 29th birthday. So it's an anniversary type thing. Then you don't have to deal with big numbers above 29. So that's something always to look forward to. Oh my gosh. And I don't know, looking at all this shark stuff, it seems like they like white meat more than anything else. So I don't know. Not good to have light-colored skin in the water. The sharks like you. So anyway, that's all I've got to add to that. So I'm going to send it back up to Ron, KD7QKU.
Thanks, Dave, KD7QKU here. Well, Jessica gave me a good idea. You know, I have a handheld marine radio, and I will have to look at the antenna connector on it, but I bet I can take the little antenna off of it, hook it up to my my vertical 2-meter antenna, and I bet I can receive quite a bit more signal than I can. I know I could hook up my DMR radios to it, and it worked really good. I have my friend, that lives in Boise, Randy. You guys met him. He came to the breakfast once or twice when we were down there in Factoria. He's probably, I don't know, early 60s, just 60 or 61 or 2 or something. And he has a Harley Davidson, and he just went on a week's ride with a whole bunch of guys from Boise and a nice bunch of guys, and they rode up into Montana. It's an arranged ride, so somebody makes motel or hotel reservations, and they have places where they recommend they eat and everything. And I don't know if they have a chase car, but I imagine they do have a chase car. But anyway, he had a wonderful time. Well, apparently his wife Stacy is a little jealous of that. So when he came home, she informed him that they should buy a Corvette. And she has a girlfriend, and they have a Corvette, and they belong to a Corvette club, and they do the same thing in the Corvette club. So Randy sent me some pictures and said that they had budgeted $50,000 to $60,000 to buy a used Corvette. And he sent me a picture when they went out and drove. They wanted $65,000 for it, and they were driving it, and the top blew off of it. Apparently, the owner hadn't snapped whatever holds the top on. The top blew off and landed in the middle of the road upside down, scratched it all to pieces, and he had to go pick it up and take it back to the owner. So he was saying to me, did I think that they should pay for the repair? But I said, well, I don't think so. I mean, he said the guy admitted that he forgot to snap it down. But I said, are you going to buy the car? And he said, no, I don't think there was things about it we didn't like. It was kind of a dark gray silver, really pretty car. I don't know what they didn't like about it, but maybe the price. But they want automatic, and they want a touring package. So I don't know. I said, well, if you really felt bad about the guy's top, you might offer to pay the deductible on the insurance or something. But I said, it's going to probably, I said, if it wasn't hurt and it can be reused and all it needs to do is repaint it, you're still maybe looking at $1,000 to have it fixed, And so I said I'd be kind of careful before I offer to fix it for the guy, especially if he admits it was his fault. So that's, I guess, what happens when you go test drive cars. So anyway, it'll be interesting to see what they wind up with. He said he was willing to buy one, way out of state someplace and fly out there and pick it up and drive it home. So they definitely, I don't know what color they want. I know what colors they don't want. They didn't want white or black, for sure, and I don't know. They didn't want yellow, so I don't know, but it's kind of interesting. I wish I had 50 or 60,000. I could go buy myself a Corvette. So one time when he was thought he was going to be a millionaire, and they had an offshore account all set up and everything, so they could kind of launder the money, to bring it into the United States. He said he was going to buy me a new Harley, but that all fell through. And so I never got the new Harley. That would have been fun. All right, back to net, KD7QKU.
QKU, and get an ID here again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Let's pick up Jessica again, KD7UHK.
If someone's giving me $60,000 to buy a new car, I think I'd spend the $20,000 on the car and then save the $40,000 for something else, maybe a house remodel or something like that. We, we're always looking at what can we do to upgrade, like say our Mount Vernon place we have here. We're thinking about looking at a new bathtub. It works okay, but it's just not all that comfortable. So I want a nice big. Like that, because what's in there now is some plastic thing. But I also think that this house up here had been it had been a business of some sort, and so they put a bathroom in slap dab real quick to make it something called a residence, you know, or something you could live in. So we want to upgrade that, and that's we've been looking into that, deciding what we need, what will fit, and so that's kind of fun. Sylvia and my friend Eddie B are here. Eddie B went downstairs. Sylvia's about to step out because she's tired of listening to us, which I think is always funny. But I always find this really a joy to talk to you guys on the radio. And I'm really happy that we got this antenna up. It's a nice and tall mast that we have out here that we could put other things on it, and I'm not sure what. Oh, but I did recently buy a used Cushcraft R7. That's one of these multi-tapped antennas for HF, and I've never really had a good HF antenna, and I want to put this up mostly just for listening and scanning the bands, and so that's going to be my next trick is getting that R7 installed. We're going to put a little small mast out here and put it up on that. So that's it. You know, I just want to say, you know, welcome to the Western Washington weather out here. This is what we get. You get a couple of days of sun, and it looks like summer's almost here, and then it turns to rain. So I always find that a little bit fascinating, you know. But someone says summer starts on July 5th. This is KF7 UHK.
KF7 UHK. Let's go to Bob, K9PQ.
Hello again. Let's see here. I got a couple of notes. Dixie Lee Ray, it was around the time we were getting nuclear power in here, but what you might be remembering is that she was a nuclear engineer before she became governor. And how you go from nuclear engineer to governor, I have no idea. I think I was in high school at the time and not paying that much attention to politics, but I do remember her. And I also do remember, I'm going to say I'm remembering him, Dan Evans, there we go. I almost forgot the name in between, looking at it on your screen and now. Yeah, I do remember him, I think because my parents probably voted for him, but that was the last Republican I remembered as well. The name of the other one that you mentioned that I have actually forgotten, I did recognize that name when he was governor. Yeah, so it's been a while, but let's see, what else have I got here? The 29th birthday, repeating the 29th birthday, it saves on candles, that's nice. And Jessica, it's always good to hear about ham radio projects. I really like that. Kind of inspiring. I had to take down my loop temporarily because they came through and cleared off our roof and deck of needles and everything, so they needed to get onto my deck, and so I always pull the the antenna down for that, my wire loop antenna. So I'm going to put that back up again. I haven't gotten to that yet. And let's see, I think that might be it. I thought I had one more thing, but I'm not seeing it. So, okay, I'll send it back. K9PQ.
Thanks for that. Let's go to Jim in the 7QO.
And 7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, Jessica, putting up an R7, yeah, I have fun with that. That should do you pretty good. Ron, Corvette, man, I don't know. We all get these expensive hobbies, and some people might say that ham radio is kind of expensive. I don't know how many people we've told how much it would cost for them to get into digital television, and some of them kind of choke and go, "Oh, I don't think so." And then other people, like you might say flying is a very expensive hobby, but that's a lot of darn money for a car. I don't know, for a hobby. Wow, I'm with Jessica. I'd get more like a $20,000 car, or maybe even a $2,000 car, and have the rest to, I don't know, paint the house again, or do some landscaping around here, or something. Man, of course, things get a little tighter as you retire too, so that might be a factor as well. But that would be nice if they could swing that. I do have a couple of friends who participate in rallies, and they have great fun doing that. Yeah, I guess if you could, kind of a fun hobby to have. But wow. Wonder if it's still raining out there. Jim, that last radar picture you showed looked like it was coming this way. If it's moving west to east, I think we're all getting wet right now. I should have brought an umbrella with me out here. Oh well. Maybe I'll remember next time. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
QO, and time for another ID. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. Net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Let's go to James, WW7N in Northeast Bellevue land.
Well, I'm pretty excited with Jitsi here. Now, if you guys go up to over to the right side where your three little dots are, and you click, there's one that it says, you know, like other stuff, and one of them is security options. And when I clicked on that security options, it says security options, and then there's one down there about the third thing. You can first thing is lobby mode, and then you can add a password. But then it says there's end-to-end encryption, right? It's currently experimental. But I love this. It's cut off. If you go on the slider bar down on the right, it says, warning, not all participants in this meeting seem to have support for end-to-end encryption. If you enable it, they won't be able to see or hear you. So, I think the last thing we should do before we shut this down tonight is everybody should enable encryption and see who can't see and hear anymore. I find it hard to believe my computer would be able to handle any kind of decent encryption, so I might be the one that would get cut off. But that's, of course, on the internet side of things. We can't encrypt anything on the radio side. But anyway, I thought that was interesting. Look again at the radar. It has updated, and yeah, it looks like there's a little blob of water right over where I'm at right now, but it's getting dark enough outside. It's not coming down real hard, but there might be an ambitious fog going on out there out my window that I can't detect without shining a light out there or something. So, well, anyway, with 8 minutes left, I guess I'm kind of running out of things to say tonight. I certainly appreciate you guys checking into the net, and I'm glad Jessica was able to overcome the vast distances between us and wherever she said she was up there. Maybe you should say again. This is James, WW7N in Northeast Bellevue. I'm going to turn it back to Net Control Dave, KD7ZYM.
Thanks for that. This is Dave, KD7CYM. I was thinking maybe some of this nose problem I have might be, yesterday was the first time I had lawn service, and they came in and mowed the lawn, and then they came in with this blower backpack and blew everything across the grass, the sidewalk, the driveway, everything else up in the air. So I think I caused my own problem by having them come and take care of the lawn, doing it that way. But I think I will take some pills for antihistamines the next time I know they're going to arrive. So this is Dave, KD7CYM. So I'm going to send it back up to Ron, KD7QKU.
KD7QKU. Yeah, Dave, that very well bigger problem than blowing all that dust around. Well, Jessica was talking about, my friends are talking about saving money. They don't seem to have a problem with money. They went down to where Dave went, can't say what it is now, in California there. They went down there twice this winter. Then they went to Arizona. Each time they stay a week or 10 days, and then they went to Paris for 10 days, and they came home. And then they're going to go, in a little while, they're going to Scotland, Ireland, and England, and they're going to be gone about a month. And then they live in $1 million home in a private community. They have the driveway all tore out not very long ago, and all stamped concrete put in it. And then when they built these homes, they must have dredged canals in the backyard. So there's water canals that go all through this neighborhood, and they back up on the canal. So when the water raises, a little bit of it gets in their yard. So they had a bulkhead built back there, all across the back of their property, and then they had a big patio, and then they bought a whole bunch of patio furniture to put on it. So, spending $50,000 or $60,000 for a Corvette doesn't seem to be a problem for them. And remodeling their house, no, they don't need to remodel their house. It's picture perfect. So anyway, they don't have any kids, so I guess they have 2 little dogs, and they love to travel, and he said they were going to travel a lot this year. Well, I think they're going to travel a lot. So anyway, that's enough for me, and nice to see you guys and hear you back in that KD7QKU.
QKU. Well, it's always nice to have friends with deep pockets. Let's go to Jessica, KF7UHK.
Quick story about the fact that when I was shipped down to Kent to work for Boeing in a circuit board shop for 22 years, I'd never heard of Kent. I had never been to Kent. I'd always lived somewhere Edmonds or north. And so they said, "Oh, by the way, you're going down to Kent on Monday." And I said, "Where's that?" And they said, "Oh, it's kind of south center. We'll give you a map and you'll find it." And then I spent the next 22 plus years down there. So I'm up here in Mount Vernon. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's north of Everett, north of Camino Island, and east of Anacortes. Mount Vernon is where I'm actually at here, and right on Highway 536. So if you look for the Skagit River, I'm only maybe 300, 400 feet away from the Skagit River. Luckily, there's a nice berm there, a nice levee that keeps the water back when everything's good. Good talking to you guys, folks, and happy 4th when it comes, and we'll see you next time. This is Jessica, KF7UHK.
HK, thanks for that. Let's go to Bob, K9PQ.
I'm going to keep mine short, just a second. One thing that I forgot to mention before, and that was shark attacks. I looked it up, and there were in 2023 69 unprovoked bites from sharks, and a bunch of other categories. 22 provoked bites, which who wants to provoke a shark, but people are idiots. 120 total cases they have for the year worldwide. So there you go. It's still not very many, considering it's worldwide, but they are out there about 1 every 3 days. And Wade just joined, so I'm going to give it back, and maybe you can catch Wade. K9PQ.
PQ, let's go to W7ITL. W7ITL. Wade, the mic's yours.
All right, guys. Well, this will be real short, QSO. Let's see. Today I went to the radio club at Tacoma, and then we went and saw my father-in-law, and I wished him a happy birthday, and had some dinner, some chili, and then we went and visited some family, and then had dinner with my wife, and I just got back. So yeah, a pretty good day. It was a little rainy here in Tacoma, so hopefully it'll get a little nicer. My wife wants to go to Wild Waves with the kids, so hopefully by Monday it'll clear up. Let's see, that's about it. Not a lot to Oh, I did. I picked up an antenna. I won't share it today, but maybe I could take a picture of it. It's a military fold-up, some type of Yagi or multi-bander. I want to see what band it's resin on. I don't have a tester, but one of the guys at the club said he's going to try to loan me one, and I'll figure out if it's something I can use, mobile ops, or maybe I'll stick it on the roof. We'll see. All right, well, that's it. This is W7ITL. Back to net.
W7ITL, thanks for being able to join us this evening. Let's go to Jim in 7QO.
7QO, thank you, Dave. Welcome, Wade. Good to see you. Well, it's just about the witching hour. I'll just make one quickie comment. Thank you, Bob, for looking up that data. 120 shark attacks in a year. That's about one shark attack every 3 days. I don't know. I would not call that something that's all that rare if it were me. That's just my thought. Anyway, thanks everyone. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
And it's time to wrap up the net for this evening. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. We'd like to thank the SeaTac Repeater Association for letting us use WW7STR's repeater 147.08 with a specific tone of 103.5 for our voice transmissions. For our nets held on Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. So on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, this is Dave, KD7CYM, signing off the net. Good evening all.